And years later I started to sing in bands and stuff like that. I didn't handle that criticism very well.
Why is that?
Well, because I knew it wasn't a natural thing for me.
Yeah.
I mean, when I don't think about it and I just start singing, it's fine, but I get in my head, right?
Yeah. And what I'm going to say that I also believe that because you were comfortable and familiar and proficient at the guitar, now here's this new thing that you wanted to be at the same level of your guitar playing.
Exactly.
And it wasn't.
Right.
Naturally.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But there was that was the other part of
exactly.
you. Like,
Yes. And then you'd have people go, oh, and then you have a bunch of people say, oh yeah, I really enjoyed it. But just a few people that would say, oh no, you shouldn't do, or whatever. And you're like, hey, eat shit, And then, but it would always be in the back of your head. And then, but it was one of those things too. Vocally, what took me years to understand is that, of the rock era, you had all these people with these really high voices, and they would, like Jimmy Page, when he wrote, the Zeppelin tunes, he wasn't thinking, well, I'm going to write this, in Robert's range. It's like, no, you're on your own. I wrote this riff in this key.
Yeah.
Now you come
Figure
up with
it out. Yeah.
And then I realized, so I did the same thing. I would write these tunes, and be like, oh, here's this. The melody's going to be this, and I would write words for it. I would sing it, and I kind of can't really sing. So if it was too high, I would give it to the drummer to sing. He had a higher voice, and I would sing the stuff in my key. But they were in the guitarist keys,
Yeah.
And so it took me forever to realize, like, put stuff in the keys you can sing it in. You can sing whatever you want.
Oh, not even the keys. Put them in the range.
And that's what I mean. Yeah, in the range. And then once I did that, I was like, okay.
Yeah. Why am I breaking my back?
Exactly.
Trying to sing these things that are not even in my range. And might I say, you have a majestic.
Oh well, thank you, sir.
Voice.
Thank you, sir.
It's almost soothing.
Oh,
in fact, I've almost fallen asleep 3 times. And I've heard you sing. It was the first time I've heard you sing at your show. I thought it was fantastic.
Oh, well, thank you.
So now you can take that with you
the
next time someone gives you crap.
Fooled him again.
It's pre-recorded. Well, that's interesting though, because I think it's really inspiring for you to be a guy who's so proficient at your instrument to say, look, when I went to try this other thing, it threw me.
Right.
And I think there are so many people who go, well, I can't sing. You have to be talented. You have to have the right voice.
Well, that was the other thing. To your point about that is that, well, how did I get good at guitar? I practiced all the time. But, with singing, you're like, well, I learned the words. Well, no, you got to practice singing. There's licks. There's knowing your voice, and I did take lessons, but they were like classical. But they were helpful in terms of being able to realize, where you're singing from and not to push and so on and so forth. But rock singing and blues singing and stuff like it's a whole different beast. You got to learn how to interface with the microphone. And I would always be one of these things where I'd be singing, and I was like, I can never really hear myself. Am I not singing up here? It always sounds muffled to me. And then I hear somebody else, like Toby or back in the day what Gary would sing. I was like, their voice sounds pristine and clear through the monitor. Like, why does mine not sound like that? And part of it is, you're hearing yourself sing, and it's just not the same. But anyways, I kind of say it's like golf. You know what I mean? It's like, 1 minute, not that I'm a golfer, but my limited experience with golf is that, I hit the ball great. I think I got this down. And then all of a sudden something minor changes and everything's screwed up. Yeah. And then you're constantly trying to, well, how did I do that again? And then, oh no, you're supposed to hold it. Oh, and then you try a new grip, you try this, other thing. Singing.
Got in your head.
Yeah, you got in your head. You got in your head. So now it's easier for me than ever before, but most of it was when I had to wear earphones when we were doing all the live streams.
Right.
And then I could hear myself, no problem singing. And then realized, you don't have to push. I don't have to do, So then I had this new kind of series of muscle memory things. So when I was singing, it was like, oh, now I'm not going to do that. Because it used to be if I hadn't sang for a while and I'd go on a tour, be like the first night my voice was gone.
Yeah.
Because like monitors were weird. Mm-hmm. They had some kind of a limiter on it. I couldn't feel dynamically what was going on, and I overdid my thing, and it's gone.
Right.
So So yeah, exactly. I mean, guitar playing, never worried.
Yeah.
Never worried about warming up. If I haven't played anything in a long time, I'll just take a stab at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Vocal wise, man, it's a whole different story.